Hi, my name is Mike Conley, owner of property management here in Fremont. And we're going to take a couple minutes today to talk about what it's like to own a rental home from an investment standpoint in the city of Fremont. Let's look at some pros and cons, starting with the pros. Number one, in Fremont, with a rental home, you're going to see more appreciation than you would in other cities. And it's for a number of reasons, but I think the biggest one right now is that there's so much economic development going on in this city and not a lot of new homes being built. You've got Tesla expanding their employees by the thousands. You've got a lot of development going on over in Warm Springs. You've got a lot of commercial development taking place in the Ardenwood area of Fremont. It's just kind of exploding on both ends of the city. And with no new homes being built, and you've got all these employees coming in, it bodes well for the appreciation of homes in the town. Number two is that you've got increasing rental rates happening in Fremont at a higher level than other towns here in the East Bay. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of workers needing to live in Fremont because of the expanding industry in this town, and no new homes being built. So you're seeing rents still year to year going up 3-5%. And then pro number three is Fremont's location. Fremont is ideally located. It's basically in Silicon Valley. It's close to Dumbarton Bridge with BART stations. Now we have 2 of them. You can take them into the city. So it's ideally located, and that bodes well for from an investment standpoint. And then pro number 4 is you have great schools in the town of Fremont. They are fantastic, starting with Mission High School, which has an API of 971, and all the elementary schools and junior high in the Mission area are also excellent. And then number 2, you have Irvington. Number 3, American. Number 4, Washington. And bringing up the rear is Kennedy. But even a home in the Kennedy School District still is going to enjoy an excellent API score. So these are all excellent schools here in town. And that bodes well from an investment standpoint, because when we see the highs and lows of the real estate cycle, people that still put a high premium on their kids' education are going to want to live in Fremont. And then the 5th pro are all the community amenities and diversity that you have in this town. It is something. In Fremont, you've got hiking at Mission Peak. You've got Lake Elizabeth, which is beautiful. You've got the new downtown happening between Fremont Boulevard and Paseo Padre. Great ethnic diversity in this town. You've got a rising number of millennials moving into the city of Fremont. You've got coffee houses on every street corner, 2 BART stations, and a wonderful climate. All make Fremont a desirable place to live. Matter of fact, an organization called Wallet Hub did a survey of all cities in the Bay Area, and they found Fremont to be the most desirable among the people that live here. So now let's look at a couple of cons happening in Fremont. Number 1 is that your cap rate is going to be lower with your rental home in Fremont than in other cities. And that's because the home prices in Fremont are about 20 to 30% higher than neighboring cities, and yet you're only able to get a little more rent for that home in Fremont than you are for the same size home in neighboring cities. So that's going to mean a lower cap rate, which is definitely a con for investors. Con number 2, you have lots of new multifamily construction. There are a lot of apartments being built in Fremont, several thousand on each end of the city. And that is going to be competition for those investors that have an older townhome or condo, because you're competing against apartment complexes with pools and gyms and Wi-Fi, and it's going to push back on rents for older condos and townhouses, which is maybe a reason to transition from a condo or townhouse into a single-family home, because there's no single-family homes being built right now in the city. And the con number 3 is that we don't have rent control in Fremont, but we do have a rental ordinance. Its abbreviation is RIDRO, and basically it states that you have to give a tenant the chance to mediate any rent increase. And then there's also some stipulations on number of rent increases that you can give a tenant. The ordinance is not a deal breaker, but it is something that you have to be aware of and you have to navigate. If I had to give Fremont a grade in terms of investing in a rental home in this town, I would give it an A-. It's excellent. And so I personally only manage real estate with my company, but my brother Tom, who's worked in Fremont for 30 years, knows the town like the back of his hand. He's a broker that deals specifically with buying and selling of investment property and 1031 exchanges. I'd love for you to talk to him. So thanks for watching. Good luck and good business.